House advisors discussing plan just moments before it was too late. When President Trump declared during the election that he would drain the swamp, little did he realize the monumental task ahead. He certainly assumed that those entities within his crosshairs, namely the progressive political establishment and of course the mainstream media, would need a good scrubbing from countless decades of corruption and collusion. However, being a political novice, he never figured on his own party colleagues betraying him, time and again. Moreover, insiders within his administration attempting to sabotage his agenda and perhaps worse yet undermining his position as president, with the hope of actually taking him down. And that the swamp isn't only reserved for the obvious, but also for the not so obvious within the Republican Party, those party hacks looking only towards the next election. In a fast-breaking report, we've just learned about an elaborate coup that was set up by a loyal Muslim supporter within the Trump administration who's responsible for the continuous leaks coming out of the White House. Moreover, since the president took the oath of office back in January as the 45th president of the United States, the leaks began almost immediately, and with the help of the mainstream media the identity of the individual was protected, in that the media refused to out its source even though some of the information was classified and a potential danger to our national security interests. Breaking judge orders investigation into Clinton lawyers. A Maryland judge has ordered an investigation into 3 lawyers who helped Hillary Clinton scrub her private emails while she was Secretary of State. Washington Times reports, a Maryland judge ordered the state bar to open an investigation Monday into the 3 lawyers who helped former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to delete her private emails. Circuit Judge Paul F. Harris Jr. said the complaints lodged against David E. Kendall, Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson were egregious and said the state bar couldn't brush them aside by calling them frivolous. There are allegations of destroying evidence, Judge Harris said at a hearing Monday morning, where he said the state's rules require the bar to conduct investigations no matter who raises the complaint, and can't brush accusations aside. The complaint was brought by Ty Clevenger, a lawyer who has pursued sanctions against Mrs. Clinton and her legal team in several venues, and who is also pressing the FBI to release details of its investigation into the former top diplomat. Bars in Arkansas and the District of Columbia, as well as federal courts, had brushed aside requests from Mr. Clevenger, who is seeking to have the lawyers suspended or disbarred. North Carolina just defied Obama admin. Over LGBT law, we're not going to get bullied. President Obama's Department of Justice, DOJ, has declared war on the right of a state government to offer at least some guarantee to women that men won't be allowed unfettered access to their restrooms under the guise of gender identification. The move came as the DOJ issued an ultimatum to North Carolina demanding that the state take action by Monday, May 9, amending or repealing the controversial bathroom law passed in March that restricts bathroom access to the gender assigned at birth, rather than that with which a person claims to identify. The issue has become a touchstone for the LGBT community, who claim it is their civil right to use the bathroom of their choice regardless of any discomfort it causes to others. Governor Pat McCrory and Republican state leaders responded with defiance. Badass Texans player just shut down every whiny protester on his field with what he brought to game. As oppressed millionaire NFL players continued to make a mockery of our country while insulting every single soldier who fought, bled, and died for this country by protesting our national anthem, other NFL players like Justin James J. Watt have been working tirelessly to organize hurricane relief efforts for the past several weeks. Watt, who is defensive end for the Houston Texans, raised a whopping $30 million just in the last week and a half alone, putting every kneeling douchebag in the NFL to massive shame. Rather than taking a knee or using his time in the spotlight to act like a gigantic jackass, Watt ran onto the football field for his first game since Hurricane Harvey with a gigantic flag, symbolizing the incredible spirit of Americans uniting after the catastrophe. A patriotic gesture that anti-American morons like Colin Kaepernick can't even comprehend. We as Americans need to stop allowing these kneeling idiots to hijack our favorite sport and give players like Watt the attention and praise he deserves, as he truly cares for Americans and is choosing to use his platform in such an incredible way. Keep in mind Watt is a professional athlete who is taking time away from his vigorous training to help his fellow Texans. Outside of a 2 to 3 hour workout each day, Watt has spent every second working with either Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner, people from the Justin J. Watt Foundation, or volunteers to make this massive project a success in just a few short days. What an incredible man! Rather than using his platform to whine about America and our country's injustices, Watt is showing is leading by example and truly being the change that our country needs, showing these ungrateful protesting morons throughout the NFL what it really means to be an American. Florida sheriff just pissed off every thug in his state with sign he put up after deputy shoots looter. Looters in Florida wasted no time getting what they wanted from people who had abandoned their homes and business for safety. Blue Lives Matter reports, Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel posted a message for looters after one of his deputies was forced to shoot a looter in a South Florida looting. One suspect was shot and a second suspect was arrested, according to NBC Miami. Looting during the storm will not be tolerated. Looters will be identified, investigated, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, a written message said on the sheriff's office's Facebook page. Then appeared a special video message from Israel himself. Looters, your behavior is illegal, it's felonious, and it won't be tolerated, the sheriff announced in the video message to looting thugs. It's unscrupulous and deplorable to loot at a time when we're battling one of the major storms of the century. The sheriff closed his remarks with a promise to use all available resources to hunt down any looters from the time of that post forward. The only way to prevent liberals and looters from doing their thing is to fight fire with fire. Looting could quickly become a game of roulette with criminals not knowing who stayed behind to protect their property until they're staring down the barrel of a Dairy Queen just royally enraged every liberal in town with new sign they just put up overnight. Schoenman posted on his door a sign that the left would deem as politically incorrect, and in all reality, it isn't. The sign reads, "This restaurant is politically incorrect. We have been known to say Merry Christmas, Happy Easter, God bless America and give away free ice cream sundaes to veterans on Veterans Day." The bottom of the sign says in large letters, "In God We Trust." The sign was posted 4 years ago after a customer came into the establishment and complained that there was Christian music being played. The sign has hung there for the last 4 years without a problem, but that streak ended about a week ago when one snowflake saw the sign and took to social media to complain. Ashley Coleman saw the sign hanging outside the door and was triggered by the sentiment and needed to take a snapshot of the sign. Daily Wire reported, "Business is good," noted local CBS reporter Julie Parise, thanks in part to a sign that's hanging on the front door. Business owners in the area also came to Schoenman's defense. "We're all just liking each other and having fun." Dairy Queen has not dictated the owner take down the sign, but they did distance themselves from the poster in a statement. American Dairy Queen Corporation does not encourage our independently owned and operated franchisees to post non-business related messages in their locations or on their external reader board. Pence brings his 9/11 speech to screeching halt and shocks everyone with what he did from podium. Vice President Mike Pence took the stage today in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where United Flight 93 crashed on September 11, 2001. On September 11, 2001, Vice President Mike Pence was serving as a member of the House of Representatives. That morning Pence was scheduled to be in the U.S. Capitol building, Independent Journal Review explained. The U.S. Capitol building was the intended target of the hijacked United Flight 93, which had just taken off from Newark, New Jersey. As the trapped passengers on Flight 93 heard from family members that other hijacked planes were being used as weapons against their fellow Americans, they decided to take action. Had it not been for these heroes on board 93 who fought terrorists off with their own hands, Mike Pence wouldn't be out vice president today because he would have been killed in the U.S. Capitol building. The aircraft didn't make it that far because these brave men had grit and did what they knew they had to do to save hundreds of lives, including Pence's. Vice President Mike Pence counts himself among the lives that were saved by the actions of those passengers, IJ Review added. With tears in his eyes and a heart bursting with gratitude for these passengers who he couldn't personally thank, the appreciation for their bravery was palpable from the podium where Pence stood. Pence's incredible story of remembrance was a beautiful tribute to the brave men he honored